college football preview video. This is the preview for Saturday. It is Saturday, the 28th of September. We will be in October next week already. How about that? Week 5 college football coming at you. Betting picks, betting preview. We'll get to as many games as we can over the next hour or so. Get you ready for week 5 in college football. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. I'm coming off a decent night. I didn't play any of those wild games. I did, though, play Arizona State second half, a pick. And I like this play a lot. I've seen the backup for Cal, Devin Modster. He played at UCLA. Wasn't effective there. Guy can't throw the football. And last night, it was pretty evident he couldn't throw the football. Nice win by Arizona State. That was a good one to get after the debacle of Navy the night before. Navy was up, guys, 20-7. They managed the rest of the game to score just 3 points and blow the cover. But I tell you what, Arizona State pick 'em in the second half was a nice play. So good to get that one. Thanks for joining me here. Please hit the like button. If you're new around here, make sure you're subscribing. And if you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. We have plenty of people out there. Retweet this, please. It's very helpful, and it helps get new people in here. That's how you build a channel, and that's how I'm building almost 4,000 subscribers. It's you retweeting it, getting out to people. I don't follow some of the people you do, so please do that. Help me out. Couple of comments here. What's up? What's up? Am I done hating on Penn State? No. I mean, sorry, dude, but the one game doesn't really change that. So they beat Maryland. Well, good for Maryland. Good for Penn State. No, I'm not going to stop talking about them. I don't know that they're as good as in years past. I'm not quite sure how one game changes that. Obviously, you're probably a Penn State fan and just sad that I'm talking about your team. Look, I don't have a favorite team. I don't care about fanboys or, stuff like that. So I think people are way too, obsessed with teams. It just is what it is. That was a nice performance last night. They killed Maryland. I don't really change my opinion. I don't think they're as good as years past. So we'll see. All right, let's get into some games here. Let's break some down. Let's try to find some value on this card. Saturday morning, I got soccer in play. I have plenty of games in the Premier League, a couple in the other leagues as well. So we'll obviously check in on those as the week goes, or the week goes on, the day goes on here today. Very good, very good. I got Wolves, very good. They're winning, perfect. What else do we have here? Peterborough, they're winning, good, good, good. All right. Sunderland, they're up, good. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get into some games here. Start them at the top, Northwestern and Wisconsin. I want to make this clear. I don't have any 12 o'clock games. Didn't like much here. I can change my mind. We'll see, but there wasn't much I liked. Let me look at a couple here. Northwestern, Wisconsin. Wisconsin laying 23.5, total 46. Obviously, I'd love 24 here, kind of a number you look to grab in football. Yeah, but 23.5 still pretty solid here. Here's the issue for Northwestern, though. They can't throw the football. Hunter Johnson has looked terrific. They just don't move the ball through the air. They're not going to convert much. They're not going to do much in the way of keep drives going. And that's concerning for a Wisconsin team that we know has blowout potential. This is also a Northwestern team that's failed to cover any game this year. And while they're good as an underdog, I just don't, at least in years past, I also want to make clear that I think those are much better Northwestern teams. This Northwestern team is not particularly good. The run game is average. There's no Justin Jackson on this team. And they don't have Clayton Thorson either. So I think when you're bringing up ATS numbers recently, I think it's important to mention that this is also not the same team. This is a major team as far as difference at the quarterback position. And this is a Wisconsin team that's probably better than years past. This is a really good football team, and this is likely a team that goes deep into the postseason. I kind of understand if you take the 24, but just or 23.5, but just understand you're not going to get much out of Northwestern in this game. That you just aren't. I mean, Wisconsin doesn't give much up. I mean, you look at all the season through 3 games. Wisconsin's giving up 5 points a game. I mean, they didn't let Michigan run all over them. What makes you think Northwestern's going to run all over them? I mean, frankly, if I'm betting this game and I had to play it, I'd probably look towards a team total under for Northwestern. I just don't see many points for them in this game. Would it surprise you if this game is like 31-3? No, not particularly. I mean, you have a team total here at 11. I'm going to say I hate that. I mean, it's low, but Northwestern's pretty bad on offense. I mean, you look at their games this year. Again, this was Stanford. I mean, Stanford at times can't stop anybody. Only scored 7 points in that game. You put up 30 on UNLV, but I mean, who cares about that? Then you put up 10 against Michigan State. I mean, this is what this team is against teams that are better defensively than they are. I just don't really see much in this offense in this game. You look at those games against Stanford and Wisconsin, or I'm sorry, Stanford against Michigan State. Neither of those games did they throw for over 130 yards. Hunter Johnson's not a good quarterback. Or maybe it's not that he's a good quarterback, he's just not prepared yet. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. And you're looking for Northwestern, their best receiver's out, so that's going to hurt. I'm kind of liking this under here. Team total under 11. I just don't think they do much in the way of anything offensively. Thank you for watching, Gator Nation. Appreciate it. Junior, what's up? Jonathan, what's happening? I saw a quote from the coach of Northwestern saying the quarterback is trying to learn on the job. Yeah, never what you want to hear about your quarterback. I mean, I've seen this kid. He's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. Thanks for watching. Brian S., Taryn Russell, Kevin Scott, Robbie, Lucky, what's up? All right, let's keep it going through these noon kickoffs. BYU Toledo, interesting game. I got to tell you, I considered Toledo here at home. Again, though, this is a lot like, and luckily for me, this was a lot like the Maryland game for me. A lot of people were taking Maryland. I didn't bet it. I liked Maryland. I didn't take it, though, because I wanted 7 in the game. Did that mattering? I could have got 49 and it wouldn't have mattered. But that was the reason I stayed off the game. You can't continuously bet bad numbers. If you don't get that number you wanted, let's say you missed the game, you just got to chalk it up and say, I missed this one. And in this game, I would like 3. I just would. I'm getting a team in BYU who I think is obviously a better defensively. You know, they're probably a better team overall. You know, they're a higher level team as opposed to what Toledo is in the MAC. But again, what we know about Toledo, good offensively, 10th in yards per play. They're explosive. They're efficient. This is going to be a big test for BYU's defense. And this is a rugged spot for the BYU Cougars. This is a tough game. Haven't had a bye week yet. You've played a tough schedule. You got to go across the country to travel to Ohio there. You look at the first 3 games for BYU. You played Utah, Tennessee, USC, Washington. I mean, that's a tough schedule. A couple of those games you had to travel in. Or, I'm sorry, one of those games you had to travel in, but now you got to go on the road again. So this is a tough spot. Really is. But again, I'm not getting 3. I like 3. I want 3. I didn't get it here. But I like Mitch Guadini, good quarterback. And you know what I like about this kind of like about this spot for Toledo? This isn't the first great defense they've played. I feel like Guadini's passed the test in some of these games. Kentucky is a good defense. It was a road game for Toledo as well. I thought they played pretty well in that game, given the circumstances. That game was basically, at halftime tied. It was 14-14 at the half, I believe. So they've been able to move the football against good defenses. What did you have for breakfast? I didn't have anything. I don't normally eat breakfast. If I do, it's like some kind of cereal or something. I eat one kind of cereal and that's about it. But I kind of eat an early lunch. That's kind of what I do, especially on Saturdays. I'm not sure why that's relevant at all to this conversation, but whatever floats your boat, Brad. Um, Michigan. People ask about Michigan. Look, I see where you're going here. I get what you're saying. Here's the thing, though. I don't think Rutgers is as bad as they normally are, and I'm some of the numbers just don't really fit Michigan here. I mean, it's very simple. Michigan doesn't cover these kind of numbers, and I know we can sell the whole "well, they're pissed off" kind of thing, but again, I mean, they have a loss now, and they hadn't before. Look, if they had found a way to win last week and whatever, sure, this would be a great spot to take Michigan because they could probably beat and name the score against Rutgers. But I don't know. But then again, I also don't want to take Rutgers. But here's the thing to think about with Michigan: 1-7 over the last 8 at home, laying 21.5 or more points. They don't cover these kind of numbers, and the turnover problems are still there for Michigan. And here's the thing about Michigan as well. This team has not been good against the run. They haven't. They just haven't. And Blackshear, the running back for Rutgers, good football player. Real good football player. So, yeah, I wouldn't, this isn't a spot that I love with Michigan. And just because they should roll and they're pissed off, I get your point, but this isn't a spot they really are great in, and they haven't really shown me much reason that they can. And look, even before Wisconsin, they were laying big numbers, didn't cover against Army. I don't think they covered against Middle Tennessee. How are you wearing a sweater? I'm in Cleveland and it's like 80. Well, I'm keeping in mind I'm inside and I have the air conditioning on, so. I mean, I'm also not outside. Some odd questions on this chat, I gotta say. I often wonder with chats like this. A lot of and these are on other chats as well, in Periscopes and things like that. I constantly see a lot of questions about people's hair and what they're wearing. Now, keep in mind, it's still warm around here, so we have the air conditioning on. Air conditioning is like 69, 70. And I live in a newer building, so the air conditioning is quite good. It works well. Knock on wood. Got a little wood here. Knock on it. It can get cool in here. It can get cold in here. So that's why I have a sweater on. All right, let's keep it moving here. Any other 12 o'clock games I like? Arkansas, Texas A&M. I mean, Arkansas was embarrassed last week by San Jose State, a game in which San Jose was paid $1.5 million to go and beat Arkansas. Yikes. Tough spot for them. I don't know, though. I don't know how good Texas A&M is. Look, if I'm Arkansas, I mean, how do you not get up for this game? You were just embarrassed. Get off the fucking mat and do something. Do something about it. That would be my look on this one. Raheem Boyd, good football player. Maybe he covers this for Arkansas. Central Michigan, Western Michigan. Let me tell you something about Central Michigan. They're a bad, bad, bad team. A bad team. I don't know how else to say it. They're really bad. Probably one of the worst teams in the country. Sorry to say for Jim McElwain in the group. And Western Michigan, they're explosive. John Wasink, real good quarterback, guy that can move the football. But I'll tell you what, last week, I was kind of impressed by Central Michigan's hanging around against Miami. I think that's more of like Miami's just not great. But This is a game where I think Western Michigan's going to just score a ton of points. CMU's going to have trouble keeping up. CMU, not an explosive offense, one of the bottom 10 worst offenses in the country. Going to be a tough spot for them. Iowa, Middle Tennessee. I know Sharps came in on Middle Tennessee. Don't hate it. This is a tough kind of game for Iowa. It's tough to cover these numbers with the offense they run, the tempo they run. And Asher O'Hara has been a good quarterback for that group this year. And shout out to him. Middle Tennessee kind of thought they'd fall off after losing Brent Stockstill. They haven't. Asher O'Hara's come in and played really well for them. Kind of a dual threat quarterback. They actually held their own last year against Iowa, as far as I can remember. As far as me, though, I do want to make this clear. I have no plays yet. I haven't put any out. All my plays are going to be on the later card. So let's get into some of those games here and kind of see what I'm looking at. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Thoughts on UAB -3 at Western Kentucky? The line doesn't look right. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big one of the day about the line. I don't think anyone on earth will tell you that UAB has much of a chance in this game, right? They have a backup quarterback in. But I want to make this clear, and this is one of the reasons I'm not going to bet this game. UAB is great on defense. They're really good. They're really quick. They're really strong. They're really powerful. And they're well coached. Bill Clark is terrific. But let me tell you something about West Kentucky. Their backup quarterback is Ty Story. He was a quarterback at Arkansas. A big star kid. He knows how to play good competition. The worry that I have is he comes in here and gets this offense going a little bit. That's my worry here. This line looks too short. But I'll tell you one thing. Last week, UL Lafayette was a 3-point dog to Ohio. I know it because I bet it, and they blew them out. I think if you like UAB, you have to trust your handicapping. You could say about Story, he's probably a quarterback that can handle it. However, there is a reason he's at West Kentucky. He wasn't good enough to be the quarterback at Arkansas. He also didn't win the starting job at West Kentucky. But here's the thing to remember about that. That doesn't mean a lot. Because if you know anything, Gardner Minshew, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, many people don't know that before Washington State, he was at Eastern Carolina and didn't win the job there. He was a backup quarterback. He couldn't win the job. Went to another school and flourished. So Ty Story's a guy that, maybe he can do some good things here. Maybe he's ready to turn it on. Maybe he's ready to go here. He's a quarterback that was rated high. Keep in mind, though, that doesn't always mean something. Look at Blake Barnett, prime example. Blake Barnett went to Alabama. He's now a backup quarterback at South Florida. So let's look at Ty Story quickly, because a lot of people want to know about UAB, West Kentucky, surprisingly enough. Let's look at Story. Last year, 57% completion percentage, not great. Threw for over 1,500 yards, almost 1,600 yards. He had 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Not great. Not great. But he's going to the Conference USA. UAB's good. It's a short line. Gun to my head, I'm not getting involved. I'm just not. This number just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I have a feeling Story's going to play decent. If Purdue's quarterback is out, hammer Minnesota. I got to say I agree. He was terrible, the backup against TCU. Terrible. I had the over in that game and missed out on it by 5 points. That's a good point. He's not a good quarterback. Good call. But then again, Minnesota had trouble with Georgia Southern, so I don't know if they're just a lock. Does LA La Tech cover against Rice? They should. Rice stinks. La Tech's a solid group. Skip Holtz, good coach. Jamar Smith, good quarterback. Bob Diaco actually has that defense playing pretty good down there. Can Virginia hang with the Irish today? I think they can hang with the Irish today, but we'll see. I thought the Irish did a nice job with Jawan Pass, a dual threat quarterback. Bryce Perkins, good player. We're going to learn a lot about Bryce today. We'll see how good of a quarterback he is. I was pretty impressed with what Notre Dame did last week against Georgia. Could we talk a bit of the NFL towards the end of the show? No, there's no reason to talk NFL. We talk NFL for an hour tomorrow before the show, and we go over every game. You can find that show on SBR Picks. We talk about it at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. There's no reason to talk about the NFL. We do it for an hour, and we go over every game on Sunday. Is Kansas for real or pretending? I kind of like the points against TCU. Your thoughts? Well, here's one thing I was really disappointed in last week was TCU's defense. I don't know what was going on last week for Gary Patterson's group. For whatever reason, they seem to go through those kind of games. There's one game during the season where they just can't do anything defensively. It's very odd. Is that more of a testament of SMU, or is that a testament that this defense just isn't very good? I will say one thing about Kansas. They've played Texas Christian well over the last couple of seasons. I remember back when, even when Trevon Boykin was there, they always seemed to play pretty well against the Horned Frogs. You look at Kansas all of a sudden. You beat BC, put up 48 in that game. Last week, they were actually quite competitive against West Virginia. Carter Stanley playing pretty well. The run game working for Kansas. Question is, are they for real? Well, I don't know if they're for real. I think they're getting there. I think Les Miles adds a lot to that team. And I'll tell you right now, in a year or two, they'll be in a bowl game. He'll recruit well in that area. Kansas is a great breeding ground for junior college. You look at Independence, Garden City, tons of great schools in that area as far as junior college. So they'll recruit. They'll get some kids in. They already have a pretty solid run game. So are they for real? I think that's a stretch. I think they're getting there. I have to see more from TCU, the defense TCU. I think they're good. I like the quarterback, Max Duggan. I think this is a tough game to call, though. I'd be off it. My number has UAB -6. I'm staying with my power rating. Yeah, I don't do power rating, so good luck. What else do we have here? A lot of comments, a lot of questions. Thank you, KD. Thanks for watching. Deke Zucker. What's happening, Deke Zucker? What story? Ha ha ha. What story are you talking about, Deke? I didn't see what story. Big man, what's up with Babano and his soup fetish? Morency says if gambling doesn't pan out for Babano, he should open a soup joint. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He likes soup. And look, I mean, what person doesn't? Ian lives up in Canada. Get a nice warm plate, a bowl of soup on a hot or a cold day. Sounds pretty good. Look, would I go to soup conventions like he has? No. But hey, the man likes his soup. Give me some Italian wedding. I'm good. This show is way better than the closing line at 11. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. Ray Sismo, appreciate you watching. Caleb, how you doing? Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Paul. Paulie D. Hey, how about that? Paulie D is in here. The great, the famous Paulie D. Does Tall State put up 50 plus tonight at Colorado State? I don't know if they'll put up 50 plus, but they'll move the football. The thing with them is trying to kind of understand what they are now that Matt Wells is gone. And last year they were putting up tons of points on everybody. That's just what that offense did. Look, Jordan Love is a great quarterback. I think he's one of the great quarterbacks as far as the country has. I think will be a big-time player in the NFL draft. Colorado State is not good defensively. The question I have for Utah State, are they looking ahead a little bit? Get a big game next week, a game that I'm sure they're circling in LSU. That'll be a fun game to watch. How does LSU deal with Jordan Love, and can they put some points up? That'll be a game where I'm kind of concerned about a look ahead. So, I would be a little worried about that, but Yeah, they're going to put up some points. Do I think they put up 50? Probably not. Any opinion on Purdue, Minnesota, or Charlotte, Florida Atlantic? Well, Purdue, Minnesota, I think we have to worry about the situation of Sindelar. Is he going to play or not? Because as one of the commenters said earlier, Purdue's backup is not good. He's not good. Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, should be points in that game. Charlotte cannot stop the run. Florida Atlantic can't really stop anyone either. We know they're going to want to run the football. I think there's some points in that game. Do the Beavers beat Stanford tonight? Oh, you're saying the Beavers do beat Stanford tonight? Yeah, I mean, it seems like John Smith's team is kind of looking for a big-time win. I don't know if this is a big-time win anymore. Stanford's not good, as we know. But, yeah, I hear you. I think they need this one for that program. Stanford is really struggling. Do you put blue cheese or ranch on wings? I don't really eat wings anymore, but I wouldn't put any on anything. I'm more of a plain kind of guy. Obviously, other than the wing sauce. What else do we have here? Les trying to recruit to Kansas is much different than LSU. Again, that's why I said junior college. I mean, clearly, I don't know if he's going to recruit really great players, but he's going to go out and get those kids in junior college that I think can help them. What's up, Alex? How you doing? Alex is saying, good morning, Donnie. Well, I'm actually not Donnie, but close enough, I guess. Thoughts of Marshall, +4 at home. Yeah, that was one earlier in the week I had my eye on. I think that's a close football game for that Cincinnati game there. The worry I have for Marshall is they've been kind of a bend but don't break defense. Do they break? And what point do they break? But here's the thing about Marshall. Doc Holliday is one of the great underdog coaches in America. In fact, I want to say he's covered 9 of the last 11 as an underdog. And you're going to give me 4 at home? I think they may lose this game, but it wouldn't surprise me if this game is 23-20. Really wouldn't. I love Holiday in the underdog role. And if you're going to give me 4 points, I think these offenses are really similar. I think these defenses are really similar. I don't know if there's a 4-point difference between these groups. I think this is a complete coin flip. I'll grab 4 points here. And also, here's another concern I have with Cincinnati. Their safety, James Wiggins, good player. He's been out all year. One of their backups as well, Kyrique McDonald, he's questionable as well. So this could be one of those games where, look, we saw, and if you remember back to that Cincinnati game 1, when they played UCLA, there were a couple of videos I put out about a safety they had, a backup safety that was making some terrible decisions. Look, backups make bad decisions. In a game like this, you can't have those players in there making mistakes. That's a concern I have as well. I kind of like Marshall here. I mean, Doc Holliday is a terrific underdog coach. Any thoughts on North Texas and Houston with a backup quarterback? Yeah, I'm not really too interested in Houston here. North Texas is legitimate. They really are legitimate. Mason Fine, a great quarterback. Here's the thing about the backup, Clayton Tune. He actually did play last year for Houston. But again, we also have to remember, not only is Derek King out, but Keith Corbin is as well. So, am I running to back him? No. Houston, we know, not good defensively either. So yeah, I'm not going crazy about that one. All right, guys, let me get into a couple games that I have my eye on that I'm likely going to make plays here. I kind of wanted to just kind of talk through them here. A lot of talk about this Baylor-Iowa State game. A lot of talk about this matchup. Look, I talked about at the beginning of the season, I was really high on Baylor, and I was not high on Iowa State, okay? And I'm not going to say that Iowa State has proven me right, but I feel like they kind of have. I think people were way too quick to just anoint this team as effective when they lost Montgomery, the best running back they've probably ever had there, and Hakeem Butler, who is probably the best receiver they've ever had there. I mean, Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but I mean, you look at so far, they struggle in overtime to beat Northern Iowa. They lose straight up to Iowa. And then they beat UM Monroe. And people are going to say, I think people are way too quick to just say, oh my God, they put up 72 points against UM Monroe. Listen, UM Monroe is terrible defensively. Terrible. We have to stop putting like stock in stuff like this. They had so many big plays in that game. UM Monroe stinks. They just do. You look at Baylor. Here's the concern, though, with Baylor and why this game is fascinating. Because what is Baylor? Is Baylor a team that has played three nobodies and put up big points, and now they're going to face a team that is actually legitimate and struggle? Or what? I mean, you look at Baylor, 56-17 against Stephen F. Austin, 63-14 against Texas San Antonio, and then they had to really kind of rally last week and beat Rice 21-13. I don't think Iowa State is as good as people kind of let on this year. And I think Baylor's pretty good. I like Mims. I love Levette at running back. I love Thornton. This is a really talented Baylor team. Really talented. And I think this is a program-defining game for Baylor. I love what Matt Rule's been able to do there. I think he has been really a savior for that team. I mean, they were in doldrums, really. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, Art Briles leaves. You have the sexual assault stuff going on. I mean, this is real. And these are two great coaches, both these guys, Campbell and Rule. I mean, these are two of the great young coaches in the country. And this is going to be a duel, man. I'm looking forward to it. But I think the two things that I like here for Baylor is obviously the playmakers and the ability to throw the football. Charlie Brewer can move the ball. He's also got that dual threat ability, which I think is going to help. And I got to tell you, I think Phil Snow and that defense come to play today. I think this is one of the biggest games of Baylor's, program over the last couple of seasons. I think this is a big-time game. I'll gladly take 3 points here at home. I think Baylor's going to be a play for me. Again, I've not put on anything just yet, but I'm looking at Baylor here and liking this spot for the Bears. Let's keep it going here. What else do I have my eye on? Talked about Cincinnati Marshall. Liberty, New Mexico. This is an interesting game. Not a lot of people talking about it, but let me just come out and say it. New Mexico can't stop anybody. This is a really big concern if you're a New Mexico guy. I don't know if there's a lot of New Mexico fans out there, but this is a Liberty offense coming in that can wing the ball, man. They are really good offensively. They have a ton of playmakers, and Liberty just is going to score at will here. I'd have to figure. I also look at Liberty and I say, well, I mean, New Mexico's a pretty potent offense in their own right. To me, this just looks like a fun shootout. I think the last time these two teams played, it was a wild game. It was a fun game. We haven't seen a ton of these real wild games. I know last week we saw it with that Washington State UCLA game, but we haven't seen a lot of these, like, because last year we saw a lot of like UMass high scoring games, and some of those teams aren't as particularly efficient as last year. But you look at last year's game between these two, 52-43. It was 42-10 at half. So New Mexico put up 33 in the second half. Liberty had 472 yards passing. I'm going to come out and say it. If I had to take an over this week, it would be this game. I mean, we also have to remember the pace. The pace will be there. New Mexico, one of the fastest teams in the country. This is a game I have my eye on. Liberty's starting to get going a little bit here. I like the over in this game. Liberty is terrible on defense. I took Liberty team total over 41.5. I like that one as well. Good call. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them in. I'll try to get to the games that you ask about. Temple, Georgia Tech. Well, that's an interesting game. You have obviously, we have Jeff Collins facing his old team here. Look, I have concerns with Georgia Tech. They can't stop the run. Their offense has been poor. Temple off of a bad loss. I think the only thing to like about Georgia Tech is the fact that their old coach is coaching Georgia Tech now. But I don't know if that's enough to win and cover this game. Temple's a pretty good defense. They have a good quarterback, a good offense. And I don't like much about Georgia Tech. There's nothing really to like about them, but I'm not on that game. Anyone on Old Dominion? Brady Devlin says, I have ECU. I mean, of course you have ECU. Keep in mind, Brady Devlin won't tell anyone this. He likes ECU. So, Brady, you got to tell people you're an ECU fan. I think people come into this chat to like really get people's opinions. You are a fan. Let's make that clear. Do I like Old Dominion? No, not particularly. I don't think they're very good. And I think this is a big-time game for ECU. I think for them to go to a bowl game, they must have this game. This is a team that's not going to be favored in any game going forward. This is a game they need to win under Mike Houston. It's a winnable game. I think Old Dominion's overvalued after the last two games they played. And I think they have the best player on the field, surprisingly, in Holton Ahlers. They have to get the job done here. You've won 2 straight. It's time to get off the mat a little bit and win a football game against a D1 team. They've run the ball a little bit better. Defensively, they played a bit better. They need to win this game today. This needs to be the ECU team that I think we all thought was a bowl team. If they win today, season's likely over for East Carolina. As far as from a postseason standpoint. I already talked about Stanford, Oregon State. Any thoughts on Auburn, Mississippi State? No, not particularly. I'm not a big SEC guy. Couldn't care less about that game, to be real honest with you. Yeah, see, I know Brady Devlin. He's definitely biased. He likes ECU. Anything on Minnesota, Purdue? Yeah, I mean, again, someone asked about that. Unless we know the situation with Sindelar, I don't think we can bet the game. Hawaii, Nevada, anything. Yeah, actually, I kind of like Hawaii in that game, but I also kind of like the over. I think both these teams are going to have to air the football out. I think what we know about Hawaii is Hawaii can't stop anybody. Well, at least anybody with a Division I in front of their name. I mean, you give up 38 to Arizona, give up 28 to Oregon State, give up 52 to Washington. But I think it's important to talk about this is not the same Nevada team as recent. I'll be interested to see how Nevada handles this game. Solano's been good, not great. I think they'll be pretty successful on the ground. I'd probably look towards the over here. Hawaii doesn't normally play well in the mainland, so that's a concern I have here. OSU, Nebraska. I mean, do you want to step in front of Ohio State right now? See a lot of people like Nebraska in this game because game day's there. Listen, I don't give a fuck if game day's there. That don't mean shit to me. Tell me how that means anything to kids in the locker room that don't even watch game day. Why do I care? Game day doesn't mean anything. Stop fucking talking about game day. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like they parade the kids out and nobody cares about game day. It just doesn't matter. Case in point, last night, there was going to be a blackout at Maryland. Anyone see that Cal crowd last night? Didn't seem like it did very much. Who cares if game day's in Nebraska? At the end of the day, Nebraska can't fucking stop anybody. And they're going to get fucking destroyed in this game too. defensively. They're not good. They're not good on defense. Does Adrian Martinez maybe keep them in this game? Maybe. But do you want to step in front of Ohio State? Because I don't. This is going to be the game I think the public gets destroyed in. Everybody's on Nebraska. I'm getting to the point for me where I just might make a play on Ohio State. I've seen the way these games go. Oh, gotta take them. The game day's there. What the fuck does that matter? The game day's there. That don't mean shit to me. Give me a stat that tells me that game day being there actually affects the game. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's just a bad television show that no one watches. Joe Anthony, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Very kind. Thank you. Glad you liked the show. We got plenty of people in here. Hit the like button, please. Retweet the show. Tell your friends. Thanks all of you for checking it out. What else do we have here? Brutal to watch. Yep. 17 points is a lot. I mean, Ohio State wins every game by 40. It's not really that much when you think about it. And that's the point. Most of you people, that's the way you're thinking. 17 points is a lot. It's really not for Ohio State. Thanks for watching, Ace Eric. I'm all over OSU, says Tony Nardo. Love it. Maybe that could be the BMOC and group play of the day. How about that? Let's do it. Let's jump on OSU. I'm ready to be on OSU for once. You know, it's funny about Ohio State. I never bet them, ever. I've never been on one of these games where they win 77-6. Will it be today? Maybe. I'm on Ohio State until the wheels fall off. I hear you. I'm probably going to bet them today. UAB, play of the day, says Josh Gray. Yeah, I would take a step back on that one. I talked about it earlier. You can rewind and hear what I said. That seems a little fishy, that one. But hey, good luck. Jamel Stone, I'm all over Toledo in this spot. Yeah, I don't hate it. As I said earlier, I talked about that game earlier. I don't hate it. It's a tough spot for Brigham Young. Toledo's a good football team. We'll see how BYU handles a good offense. And Toledo's actually faced a defense similar. I don't hate it. I didn't take Toledo because I'm not getting 3. I want 3 points there. I'm not interested in 2.5. I want the best number. We have to stop betting bad numbers just because we kind of like it. If you can't get what you want, don't bet it. It's very simple. If you go to a car dealership and you say, hey, I want to spend $17K on this car and it's a smart bet, it's a smart deal, I want $17K, and they won't give you $17K, you're not just going to say, oh, okay, I'll pay what you want for it. You got to haggle. You got to get the best price. This isn't the best price for this game. Just isn't. I want 3, and if I'm not going to get it, I'm moving on. What's up, Jeff? What a game by my Nittany Lions last night. Fucking shoot me. Who cares, man? Good for your Nittany Lions. You're not going to hear me fucking play a fucking violin for them. Mike Butler, thanks for watching. Kansas State looks good. Well, hey, look, if you want to step in front of Oklahoma State, be my guest. I don't know if that's kind of a game that Kansas State wants to get into, or a shootout. I don't think they're going to win that game. They don't have enough guns for that one. I like the over in Ohio State, Nebraska. I don't hate that either. You know what I have a worry about with Ohio State? Seems like every year they put up one of those games where they just get boat raced. Purdue. A couple years ago, it was Iowa. Remember Purdue last year? Put up like 55 on them. That's the worry I have. They're either like really unbelievable and win by 70, or like they lose and give up 50, and you're like, whoa, we actually thought Ohio State was a top 5 team. That's always the worry with them. I don't think Nebraska can do that. But hey, I mean, they have a big time player in Martinez, so we'll see. I like Marshall. We talked about that game. Guys, I can't keep going back and talking about the same games. I do the show a half an hour earlier so you can go back and rewind if you missed something before the games. I will say, yeah, I do like Marshall. If you want my analysis, you have to go back and listen. Chase Young's going to be Martinez's face all day. Yeah, that's a concern. Ohio State's defensive line is very good. Very good. If I don't answer your question, I already went over it. All right, let me go through a couple more here. We'll go on for another 10, 15 minutes. I do want to check in with the Premier League and see what's going on with my games. I have some games in progress right now that I want to check in on. Villa Burnley, I have the under. We are near the 60th. That's 1-0. So we're looking good there. Wolverhampton Wanderers, they're up 1-0. Good stuff. I have Chelsea win to 0. They're up 1-0 as well. We'll see if Chelsea can keep a clean sheet, something they're not too good at. In fact, they haven't done it this year. I have Timu Puki to score any time. They don't have any goals there. However, I do see that they're, getting chances. So we'll see how that one shakes out. What else do I have here? I also have some League One games. Ipswich, they're winning. Who scored for Ipswich? Did James Norwood score any time? Let's see here. Let's see here, people. Ipswich Football Club. Please tell me James Norwood scored. He has not. Come on, James. We need a goal from you. They're up 2-1. Oxford's up 3-0. Good call by Flash. They're rolling. Peterborough United, they're up. Good. Sunderland, they're up. Good. I need some goals in South End Stanley. We only have one there. We need more. Look at Bolton Wanderers. Guys, listen, I made a small play on Bolton Wanderers 9-1 today. They're tied right now with Portsmouth. Let's see if they can get a goal here. Then I have some League Two as well. I have Cheltenham. They're tied against Crewe. I did also take what else did I have there? I took another game. I forget the other one I took. I have so many games. Let's get back to college football here. Let's take some questions if we have any. What do you think about Fresno State? I didn't get involved much with that game. Should roll, though. What's up, Demetrius? Thanks for watching. Thank you, Casey. Casey is going to go get married now. How about that? I've never had anyone come in here and say that. Casey says, thanks for the... I'll tell you what. Let me say something about this guy. Hold the fucking phones here. Okay. This is a real degenerate right here, right? Casey Aldridge. Thanks for the good, quick info. Now I'm going to go get married. Wait a second. So you're on your wedding day, the most important day of your life, the day that you will give your heart to another person and share half your wealth with them. You're sitting here watching me on YouTube. Casey, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to DM me whenever you get a chance. It doesn't have to be today. I know you're busy. But get in touch with me, and I want to speak to you. Because I need to talk to you. That is one of the most interesting things I've ever heard. I hate to tell you all, I love all of you, but the day I get married, I will not be doing a show, I have to tell you. Because first of all, my mother would know, and she'd be very unhappy that I did. That is wild. That's an interesting decision, Casey. Hey, takes all kind of people. But Casey, you're a dedicated guy. Thank you for watching. And I'll tell you what, like I said, get in touch with me. I want to help you with something. So reach out to me. I want to talk to you. Does your wife know about this? Casey's a true degen. He definitely is. Hey, listen, here's another thing, though. I got to give him respect. He's true to his craft. Any thoughts on the last game tonight? UCLA, Arizona. Hey, Pac-12 after dark. What do you expect? I expect points in that game. I think UCLA's offense got going last week. I don't think it's going to stop here. I'll probably be here watching that game and probably be on the over. Take good advice. Never buy a MacBook Pro. I actually probably won't ever do that. So thank you. What about SMU and Auburn on a parlay? I don't do parlays, and SMU's a trappy game today. I kind of like South Florida there. I mean, does anyone really think that SMU's legitimate? I don't know if they are. 4-0, but last week was impressive. Seems like a trappy game. I know South Florida, a lot of the sharps are on South Florida. So be that for what it may. UL Lafayette, talk about an interesting game. That's a game I have my eye on as a play for me. Georgia Southern's actually been real good against the run so far this season. But I talked about it last week. This is one of the best rushing attacks in the country, UL Lafayette. They are unbelievable on the ground. They have a quarterback, real smart kid, engineering major, smart kid, makes good decisions. You look at Georgia Southern on the ground. I mean, let's look at what they've done. I mean, we know LSU, they don't really run the ball a ton anymore. Then they played Maine. I mean, not exactly tough to stop that rush group. And then they played Minnesota. And, Minnesota, for what it's worth, threw the ball a lot as well. I don't know that I think this is a game where Georgia Southern kind of gets humbled a little bit. This is a game I'm going to have my eye on. This is a game that I'm looking forward to. I'm thinking about betting. Demetrius saying the SMU hasn't lost on the spread yet. I mean, I don't really care much about that kind of stuff. I mean, I also think that it's just a trappy game. It's a road game. It's South Florida. It's a tough trip. And it's a game that I think we can realize SMU's not great defensively. They just have been able to outscore people. Now you're laying more than a touchdown. This is a tough spot. Georgia State's stout against the run. Yeah, but this is a really good run offense. So, all right, we'll do one or two more here, and then we'll wrap this thing up and put a bow on it. Lafayette's still sitting at 3. So, all right, the civil conflict. This is a big game. Civil conflict, Connecticut and Central Florida. Central Florida, 43-point favorite. One of the great moments in sports, and it was highlighted this week, Barstool did a piece on it. Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, Bob Diaco used to be the coach at UConn. He basically created a trophy with these two teams, the civil conflict, it was called. And he basically took the trophy and handed it to Central Florida after the game that they had won. And Central Florida basically just left it and said they don't acknowledge the trophy. And it was kind of a funny go back because Bob Diaco was just obsessed with the civil conflict and whatever. But, I will say this. I think UConn's better than they have been in years past. I don't think they're good or anything, but there's a lot of points. I have a weird feeling this is like 49-10 or like 52-13 or something. Let's just say I think UConn's a bit better than they normally are. UConn and Rutgers are slightly better than the normal terrible football teams that they are. So for the civil conflict, I'll take the 43 here. Let's do one more. All right, let's do this one. By the way, Wyoming UNLV. I've heard about some wind concerns up in Laramie. Heavy winds up there. I know that there's actually up in Montana. I saw in Montana there's some snow this week. Some of the Rockies are getting 3 feet of snow already. So snow is on its way. I mean, in a month it'll almost be here, guys. At least here. But yeah, I've heard windy conditions in Laramie. Let me tell you something about Laramie. Highest elevation in the country as far as football is concerned. Weather can be really tough up there. That's going to be tough to throw in. Could be a nice underspot for these two groups. Could be a lot of running inside the 50s. So, we'll see. Keep your eye on the unders in those games, though. I think the wind is like above 20 miles an hour. In fact, I want to see exactly what the wind's looking like there, because that is one of the weirdest atmospheres in the country, really. All right, so that game, I mean, you're looking at 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds up there. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you look at 1 p.m. local time, I mean, you're going to have nearly 30-mile-an-hour winds there. This game's going at 8 o'clock Eastern. So basically 5 local. 5 local, I mean, you're still going to have winds in the mid-20s. Not a game for football, necessarily. He's throwing the ball. So keep your eye on that. All right, one other game I want to talk about. Washington State and Utah. I hear a lot of people talking about the under in this game. And I got to tell you, I don't really get why you would want an under in this game. I mean, did Utah really show you that they have any ability to stop a legit passing game? I mean, a third-string quarterback, Matt Fink, threw the ball up and down the field on Utah. And, I mean, contrary to belief, Washington State just got destroyed last week through the air. I mean, you're either going to have two teams that really come to play defensively, or you just get real lucky here. But, I mean, you have to realize Washington State gave up 507 yards through the air last week. And Utah gave up almost 400. Here's what Utah does well. They stop the run. Here's what Washington State does well. They don't run it. I get the pace might not be there in this game, but I'll tell you what, I think the offenses are there in this game. It looks like Tyler Huntley's going to play. Here's the thing, guys, about these two teams. Anthony Gordon for Washington State, 74.5% completion percentage. That's very good. Tyler Huntley, 77% completion percentage. And Huntley, it looks like he's going to play in this game. So I hear a lot of under talk, but I'll tell you what, not a lot supporting it outside the tempo in this game. I already talked about Florida Atlantic, Charlotte. I guess I would see points there. The number one weather lady in the country is Liberty Chan. She's the bomb. Why do I have the feeling she's very attractive? Listen, the best weather guy in the country is Eric Hurst. He's a weatherman locally here. He's terrific. I want a guy with glasses as my weatherman. Sorry. Just trust him a little bit more. If I can get 24.5 from Northwestern, would I take it? No, I wouldn't. I like the under 11 for Northwestern in that game. I don't think they score any points. I'll tell you what, the only plays I would consider at noon would be Ohio State minus 17 and Northwestern team total under 11. It's about all I would be looking at. All right, Burnley have scored. That's not good. We need that game to stay under. We're working with one goal here. We need it to be a draw the rest of the way. Wolves have scored. Good. That's big. Wolverhampton Wanderers, I have them. They're up 2-0. Watford is sure utter trash, Watford. All right, I'm out of here, guys. You all enjoy your day. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something here today. Been on for about an hour. It's time for me to ride off into the sunset. No Moss either. Yeah, I think we all know Zach Moss is out. But yeah, I agree with you, Allison. Taking the 6. Don't think it's a bad decision. I'm out of here. You all enjoy your day. I'll have my card out pretty soon, probably over the next half an hour. Make sure you check that out. All my college football is free. If you want on my NFL, all you have to do is email me. I'm doing very well in the NFL this year, 6-3 on the season. I have an email list. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to jump on board. It's very cheap. I give out a audio analysis of all the picks, and I tell you why I like them. So please reach out to me if you want to jump on board. Having a solid season, we'll get you involved. We'll get you right in to college basketball, which we will have coming up here as well. So get on the right team. Email me, bmocsports@gmail.com, bmocsports@gmail.com, and I can get you involved with NFL. Having a real solid season. bmocsports@gmail.com. I have I put that email there in the chat box. Reach out to me. I don't sell college football. I'm just doing that for free. But if you want involved with NFL and then obviously college basketball down the road, get in touch. You all have a great day. Enjoy the Saturday. I'll tell you around here, this is probably the last weekend of the month or the year where we are going to have warm weather. I saw the temperatures next week. We're going to have temperatures at night in the low 40s. So cold weather is coming. Hay rides, pumpkins, and all sorts of great things are coming. So enjoy the time. It's a great time to be alive. I'll be on throughout the day on Twitter. Feel free to reach out. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.